Subcompact cars can no longer just be cheap transportation. They need to offer more, a lot more.
That's right. Today, people ask a lot of these little hatchbacks. They want better performance, improved efficiency, more features, and of course, a little style.
So we've gathered two cars that try to do all those things: the Chevy Sonic and the Hyundai Accent. The 2013 Chevrolet Sonic that we have here is an LTZ model and features a 1.4-liter turbocharged engine that makes 138 horsepower and 148 pounds-feet of torque. A naturally aspirated 1.8-liter engine is the standard motor in the Sonic, and while it makes the same amount of horsepower, it features far less torque than the 1.4 turbo, which is a $700 upgrade. The turbocharged Sonic is available with a 6-speed transmission, either an automatic or manual, and that auto is a no-cost option. The Sonic is rated at 27 mpgs in the city, 37 mpg on the highway, and 31 mpg combined. Currently, we're getting about 30 miles per gallon. Now, the Sonic hatchback starts at $15,595 for the manual LS model, just $5 more than a base Accent hatchback. Our LTZ tester comes to $20,695 after destination, and that's almost $2,000 more than the Accent SE.
When it comes to engines, there's only one choice for the Hyundai Accent, and that is a 1.6-liter direct injection 4-cylinder that makes 138 horsepower and 123 pound-feet of torque. Our SE Accent hatchback came equipped with the optional 6-speed automatic transmission, although a 6-speed manual is standard. With the automatic, the Accent is officially rated at 28 miles per gallon city and 37 miles per gallon highway, both of which are higher than the Sonic. After a week of driving our test car, we are averaging 32.2 miles per gallon, again better than the Sonic. The Accent starts at $14,545, with our loaded up Accent SE ringing in at $18,790 after destination charges.
When it comes to subcompacts, too many of them lack a sense of style and identity. Luckily, the Sonic doesn't have that problem. It's easily one of the better looking subcompacts out there thanks to the unique look of the headlights and taillights. There's also a few bits of chrome trim which give the car a slightly upper class look. The Sonic also hides its rear door handles in the C-pillar, making the 5-door actually look more like a 3-door hatch. Our model also features some chrome door handles as well as 17-inch wheels, riding low-profile tires with a 205 width. Overall, the Sonic is plenty handsome for a subcompact and doesn't make you feel embarrassed about driving a cheap hatchback.
The Accent is a good-looking car, but in a completely different way than the Sonic. The Sonic is youthful and funky, which may turn off some mature buyers, whereas the Accent has a more controlled, sophisticated look, especially in the Cyclone Gray paint job. Being an SE model, our test vehicle came equipped with optional 16-inch wheels, front fog lights, and rear spoiler. These small additions really set off the overall look of the Accent.
The Sonic features a pretty edgy interior for a subcompact. It works in some ways, but falls apart in some other ways. For starters, here's this gauge cluster, which combines the speedometer and tachometer into one compact little pod. Our Chevy Sonic has the optional MyLink infotainment system, which is colorful, responsive, and great to use. The cool thing about MyLink is it lets you use your smartphone data to get extra content from Pandora or Stitcher. And if you want to get a navigation system, all you have to do is buy an app on your phone for $50. You'll also notice that the Sonic has gray leather interior, which is contrasted with teal stitching. It's a unique flair that some people might find tacky, but others will find different. I found the seats a little uncomfortable for a long trip in this Sonic. It's these flat bottoms and the seat back, which are also flat and offer no support for your body. One thing that the driver and the passenger will really appreciate in the Sonic is the amount of at-hand storage. There's these two cubbies up here, in addition to some pockets in the door and some more storage between the two front passengers. There's a few premium features inside the Sonic which the Accent doesn't even offer, including leather seats, automatic headlights, and heated front seats. I've also got remote start, which is plenty handy in the colder seasons. Interior space is pretty solid. The Sonic has 1 less inch of headroom in the front, but a little bit more in the back than the Accent. The Sonic has less trunk space than the Accent, but when you drop the rear seats, the two have just about the same cargo volume.
Inside, Hyundai has done a very good job of making this entry-level car look anything but. First, there's the stylish steering wheel with all the usual buttons, and then there's the center console that wouldn't look out of place in a Hyundai Sonata. Even the areas where Hyundai had to cut costs, like the top of the dash and the doors, are at least a pattern hard plastic. And really, the only complaints I have from behind the driver's seat has to do with no telescopic steering wheel and a hard surface where your elbow goes on the doors. But it's not just looks that make the Accent premium. Inside, we have automatic climate control, a sliding center armrest, Bluetooth connectivity, satellite radio, and the optional sunroof. Although the back seat is slightly smaller than the Sonic's, the trunk in the Accent is over 2 cubic feet larger thanks to a very low loading floor.
You'll really appreciate the extra torque of this 1.4-liter turbocharged engine that's in this Sonic. And it's punchy. And I have to say, I really like the way the Sonic handles. The steering is heavy, and the suspension is not too stiff. Compared to the Accent, this thing is downright sporty. But nobody really buys a subcompact because it's sporty. They want a car that's easy to drive in the city, fuel conscious, and cheap. How does the Sonic fare in all those 3 criteria? Not that good. For starters, it's $2,000 more than the Accent, and sure, you get nice things like heated leather seats. Does that really help when it comes to fuel economy? Not really. And this turbocharged motor, well, you've got to be completely aware of what you're doing in order to get good fuel economy. In fact, as soon as you hit the city, the fuel numbers take a nosedive. And once you get on the highway, it doesn't get much better. You have to be constantly aware of how fast you're going. You need to give light throttle inputs in order for you to get anything north of 33 miles per gallon. And that's not what this car is rated at on the highway. However, city driving is actually pretty good. Visibility is nice, and the car is extremely maneuverable in tight spaces.
The Accent is over 100 pounds lighter than the Sonic. Now, this may not sound like much, but in this segment, a 4.5% weight reduction is a big deal. It shows up not just in fuel economy, but also on the road. The Accent feels more nimble and more willing to change directions, even if the Sonic does have more outright grip in the corners thanks to its bigger tires. The Accent's engine may be lacking torque when compared to the Sonic's, and does require a lot more RPMs to get the full amount of power out of it. But never once did we feel that it was lacking. In fact, the Sonic and the Accent are 2 of the more powerful vehicles in this segment, and never leave us with that, oh my god, I'm not going to make the pass in time feeling that a Versanote or a Mazda 2 does. This little Hyundai is missing something else: road noise. I mean, it's not the quietest vehicle, and it's not even the quietest in the segment, but it doesn't have any sort of tin can buzzy sound that you'd associate with subcompacts from the past. In the end, this segment is always dictated by one factor more than any other: cost.
Even though the Sonic may have more emotional appeal, it is more expensive and is worse on fuel.
Add in Hyundai's killer 5-year new car and 10-year powertrain warranties, and well, the Accent ends up being the clear winner in this comparison.
For more on this car comparison and others like it, visit AutoGuide.com.